I'm doing well. Yourself?
Still look like you're staying in somewhat game shape.
No. Not even close.
Man, so how's life treating you since you quit playing the pros, man?
It's whatever you make of it, when it ends, it ends. But got several projects working right now. So literally we've been building this app, and that's been the lion's share of my time the last few months. So hopefully we can launch it here a couple weeks. So we'll see.
Right. So how hard was the transition from playing 8 years to, as some would say that I've talked to, civilian life? I know that had to be hard at first.
Oh yeah, the only high you get that this is such a natural high of playing in the game, especially at that level. I mean, you can't replace that. There's nothing.
Yeah.
Walking into a stadium of 70,000 screaming fans is priceless. That energy. I mean, people may not think it does a lot, but it does a lot. Because it's when you're going through training camp and stuff like that, is nowhere near that kind of energy. But when you step on that field on game day, man, It is. So the biggest shock is when it's over that there's no more screaming fans for you. That's the first part. Then the money, that cash flow stops, baby. And I've tried to replicate it my whole career ever since. And it's, you get the trickles, you get some coin, but you don't get like you did in the NFL. So that's the thing. And, but you're always part of the fraternity, and the older you get, the smaller the fraternity is. So that's part of it. But, I try to tell people all the time and say, your career is going to end. It's just win. And when it ends,
that's an honest way to look at it.
Yeah, when it ends, you just have to be ready. You have to have what you want to do with your life. And you may think like when I started my career, I had an idea what I wanted to do when I was finished, but because I got 9 credited seasons, but it was 10 years. And when I was done, it changed. It changed from when I came in, what I thought I was going to do, to what I wound up doing when I was done. So that's it's a tough transition no matter what.
How was the transition for you mentally, though? I know that probably had to be more harder than the physicality aspect of the transitioning. Because
trust, I don't miss training camp, not at all. So, I don't miss lifting weights. I don't miss any of that. I don't miss that. No, you miss the locker room. That's what you really miss.
The brotherhood stuff, because it really is true. Yeah,
because there's somebody that you're going through it with, and they're going through the exact same thing you're going through.
Yeah.
And you have to have that camaraderie, that energy, that unity, and once that's gone, I was in 9 locker rooms, and I've got 3 really close friends from those locker rooms. That's it.
Mm.
But I've played with hundreds of guys.
Right. So, yeah, it definitely wasn't easy.
No, but nothing worth having ever is. And when you understand the price you have to pay, most people don't want to pay that price. It is what it is. And I tell people all the time, you do got to do something nobody's willing to do, or nobody can do.
Exactly.
So what can do is that one of 1%. And when you see those guys, all you can do is admire them. I was just telling a story the other day about being behind Chester McLaughlin. He did stuff in nose tackle I could not do. I tried and I tried and I tried and I tried.
Yeah.
But I could not do what that guy did. And it's like, well, that's one of those special people. Randy Moss, that was another one. Very special guy. When you watch him do what he does, you're like, well, you know what? And at the time they were talking about, oh, he doesn't practice, he doesn't do this, he doesn't do that. I'm like, man, I can take 3 plays, and I tell you, I don't give a damn what he does. As long as he does that on game day, that's all I care about. So, and those guys aren't rare. I mean, Pat Mahomes is one right now. They just do special things that no one else can do. And, they put their pants on one leg at a time, just like everybody else does. but they are special. And when you see it, just admire it because it's rare.
No, it definitely is. What was your journey like getting to the NFL? Now I know, like when you play football, being a little boy or girl, because girls are getting into the sport now. But when you're a little boy, that's always one of your first thoughts, all the way down to the young age of 5 or 6, whenever you first start playing. Did
Yeah.
you ever think how was that for you?
Well, in high school, I went to a high school. We won 3 state titles in 4 years of high school. So we were really spoiled about being good. Jeff City High School in Jeff City, Missouri. The year we didn't win was my sophomore year, and we lost at double overtime to Rockhurst, who was our rival in the state. But they were recruiting back then. But that one hurt. But we kind of expected to go to state, and then I turned around and went to University of Missouri when we were terrible. The best record I had was 3-7-1. So thinking I was going to come out of Missouri and go to the pros, it's like, yeah, I was hoping for it, but wasn't real optimistic on it until we played Nebraska, Colorado, Oklahoma, who were all nationally ranked while I was there. And I matched up against the guys I was going that were, all-star college athletes.
Yeah.
So once you see you can match up with the guys that get all the notoriety, it's like, well, I could go too. But the stars and the moons had to align and everything had to come together so it could all be possible. And then, luck and fate, they met, and I got lucky and I got drafted. I was a 5th round, 171st pick in the 1996 draft. And the draft is fun for the first 5 people. And then everybody after that is going through pure hell. So when the draft was here in Kansas City, all my family and friends was like, "You going to the draft? You going to the draft?" I said, "Hell no." This is the worst time of my life because I thought I was going the first day. I didn't go to the second day. And it was just pure hell. So, but I was thankful I got drafted. I was thankful I had an opportunity. But it's you got expectations when you go into stuff, but that's the ugly and bittersweet truth about the NFL. You can think you're good, but it's going to tell you whether you are or not. And
Yeah.
those opportunities, when they present themselves, you just got to take them.
Just like you were saying about how the seriousness of the talent of everybody in the NFL, people don't realize just how good people on practice teams are. You might not ever see them on a field, but it's crazy how talented every person in the NFL truly actually is. It's crazy.
So I would say 80% of the roster are guys like me. You got skills, you got size, you got ability, and you're pretty good with that.
Yeah.
But then that special 1% is the top that there was no denying them, probably going back when they were 3rd grade, because they just had that talent from early on. But everybody else, you got to learn how to be good. Your drive, your dedication, your commitment, all that stuff comes into play. And don't think that the superstars don't have to do it too. They have to do it. But yeah,
they just make it look easy because they're that good.
Yeah, because they do things that other people just can't do.
Right.
So but everybody has to be, the work ethic is standard. If they have to, they're not going to ask you to work hard. If you don't work hard, you're just gone. Yep. They just, and the some of the sobering things, like when you're watching film sometimes and you kind of feel like, oh man, I think I'm doing good. I think I'm doing good. And then the coach is, running through the film, he gets to your number. And if he skips you, it's like, oh hell, you're gone.
Yeah.
So, but when he goes over and evaluates, hey, Steve, you need to do this, and this, like, oh, okay, coach, okay. And if you're not coachable, if you don't take that and try to show that you're applying what the coach just told you, you're gone. I mean, it's the not for long business. And a lot of guys get cut just because they're not honest with the film they see. So that's what they say, the eye in the sky don't lie.
It never does. What was your, if you had to pick, it's a 2-part question. What was your proudest moment playing in the league? And what was your most humbling moment playing in the league?
That's a toughie.
Sorry, I'll try to ask good questions.
Well, I got tons of proud moments.
Well, if you just like not like your most proud, it's just like one of your,
Well,
proud
making
moments.
the team my rookie year was, that was, I was beyond proud on that one, because I got in.
Right.
And then staying in was a everyday challenge because every day they're trying to find somebody to take your job.
For sure.
The most humbling moment was going against one of those mega superstars. And people bust my chops all the time about this, but I went against Larry Allen, and I was in Philly, and Larry Allen was not a good tackle, but when they moved him to guard, he was a bull in a china shop. So the guy benched 700 pounds, and if you've never been punched in your chest by somebody who benches 700 pounds, you ain't experienced nothing yet. Because I benched 550 at my peak. So I was a really strong dude.
700?
He benched 700 pounds, and I'm
That's
telling
crazy.
you, it felt like a horse kicked me in the chest. So that was the most humbling, because from that, and I'm a big dude. I'm 6'5". I was at the time I was 305. Like I said, benching 550. I'm strong and powerful. I'm one of the guys they want to stop. And here's somebody that just got me beat. And I'm just like, oh man, I had to use all my skill and technique. Because you're supposed to stay in there, take on the double team, turn your shoulder. But it's Larry Allen and Flozell Adams. These are the two big. Larry 6'6", Flozell 6'8", and they both 3 bills plus. And Larry punches like a horse. So, it was just very humbling, because I thought I was the BMOC. I just felt like I was inexperienced. And then I went against somebody that just had me physically beat.
Yeah.
So that was the most humbling experience for sure in my career. And I can pinpoint that one. The success, I've had a lot of those.
Yeah.
But that was very humbling.
Now I want to talk to you. You say because where I seen it said that you were in the league 8 years. I didn't know it was more than that. So for that, I do
There's
apologize.
9 credited seasons, but it was
9 credited. Okay.
10. Yeah.
Got you. Okay, cool. Thank you for the correction. Now,
cool.
I'm trying to understand, like, is it 6 or 7 years or maybe 5 years that you have to play consecutively to get a benefits package from the NFL when you retire?
Technically, it's 5 to get vested. And once you're vested, you get the full NFL benefits with everything in it. So you get the ALS fund, the 1988 plan, Upshaw retirement plan. You get all these. There's like 5 different funds. And then your head injury stuff, you can file for that, and all the stuff you can file for. But yeah, I know guys that, played 3 years and got it because they were hurt
Okay.
their first year in. So
there's ways to get it if you don't play 5 years. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but if you're hurt early, you'll probably get it. So
good. Because I see ESPN and other sports networks and stuff do shows on guys or talk to past players that are struggling because they weren't able to get that. That's why I was asking that with the years situation.
That's pre-collective bargaining 5 and 6. If you were before that, you don't get any of that stuff, because those things weren't in the collective bargaining agreement, because the league wasn't established as before. Now they try to grandfather some folks in, and then they got other ways at which they can get a benefit. But yeah, that's before my generation.
Okay.
It was going to be the guys in the 80s, in the 70s that don't get that.
Definitely. Okay. I was just trying to double down and make sure on that. You were talking about head injury stuff. Did you ever experience having concussions?
Oh, yes. And again, they didn't, there was no head injury protocol. I ran kickoff against Buffalo, and this is my second year. I was 6'5", 290. I'm too big to run kickoff is bottom line, but I hadn't gone to any special teams practice since the beginning of the season. And this is like 7 or 8. And I'm running down on kickoff, and that was when they ran a 4-man wedge. So the 2 guys would come and set up, and they block coming out of the end zone. I was the guy that went in there and blew that up. And the first 2 times I blew it up, knocked all 4 guys down. The first time I went to the wrong sideline. Clearly, I had a concussion.
Yeah.
The second time I go down, did it again, went to my sideline, but took my helmet off and I handed it to my coach. The third time, there was only 3, and I said, "Where's number?"
Mm.
Chris Roy was sitting on a 20, and this is the term "keep your head on a swivel." I didn't know that about special teams until I got knocked out. So I was going full speed. So my adrenaline's high. I'm in best shape of my life, all of that. And then all of a sudden, click, everything's off.
Yeah.
So I was knocked out. And they had to use smelling salts to wake me up. I didn't know where I was at. And I didn't really come to for another 2 days. And then I go to the locker room.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I was awake and I was alert, but I was delirious. I didn't know where I was at. I didn't know what was going on. And so it was Sunday. Monday, we flew home. Tuesday, we were off. I go in on Wednesday and I'm practicing. This is what we did. There was no 5-day recovery, none of that. I was practicing on Wednesday, and that was back when we full pad practice. So,
Yeah.
you know, whether I had a concussion or not, didn't matter. If I didn't practice, I wasn't gonna be there. So,
Now, it sounds like to me you're one of the few lucky ones that suffered concussions that was able to still stay somewhat on a straight narrow path, because you know, we all know some of the guys, unfortunately, like Junior Seau, that suffer from concussions and just couldn't never fully recover being on the path. So for a person like yourself that experienced serious concussions, how important is it to you to see players now get treatment to try to help them stay on that path versus to where, you get what I'm saying? Like, because the stuff started back in the 70s or 80s when concussions started getting looked at, but not really protected.
First thing I say about concussions, number one, like I said, I'm 6'5", 295, running on kickoff. Don't get that big and try to run kickoff, because we're all made out of the same stuff.
Bad things will happen, yeah.
When you're running with that kind of weight, no matter what, your impact is gonna. And I was running a 4.79, so I was really fast for a big dude. But yeah, that concussion, you're gonna get them. It's gonna happen. It's inevitable, especially if you're a lineman or a linebacker. You're gonna get them. The thing I learned, my buddy Wes Chandler, he's got a whole sequence of stuff to help aid you with CTE.
Okay.
Because that's what, when you get CTE, that's really when your concussions are out of control. And that's what Junior had, and many of the other guys that wind up committing suicide, they get CTE because their brain slams into their cortex and it just causes bruising. So there is the plus is that there's ways to treat it.
Yeah.
But everybody, to me, I'm sitting here live and functioning at full capacity, and I think I have memory loss based because of my age, not because. And I'm not saying the head injuries didn't cause something with it, but what I found was diet and exercise. That when it pisses me off when I see commercials that say when diet and exercise are not enough, your diet's everything. If you fix your diet, manage your sugar. I'm not telling you to get rid of it, but just manage your sugar. That inflammation, get the inflammation out of your body. Everything goes back to working like it's supposed to, because the body can repair itself. You just have to give it what it needs so it can repair itself, and stop putting in the stuff that disable it from repairing itself. So I am glad that they have a concussion protocol. What I'm upset about is that they're not letting real cures hit the table. They want to put these treatment plans that don't necessarily cure it. There are cures for this, and they're not putting that on the table.
Because if they did that, and I'm not saying anything about the NFL when I say this, when I say they, I mean Big Pharma, whatever you want to call it, or whoever they is.
That's who it,
they don't want to do that because they'll lose money.
There it is. So I'm glad you said it. I didn't have to, but the Big Pharma pushes everybody to do what they want for their benefit. The NFL, whichever way the money's coming, they're going to take it.
Yep.
So if you're dumping money in their pockets and saying, okay, do this, then that's what the NFL is going to do. But yeah, like I said, I'm glad they have protocols and treatments for it, but I'm disappointed when I hear guys just walk away from the game that they love so much because they're worried about their head injuries. Get into a CTE treatment program, a true cure program like my boy Wes.
Yeah.
Do that and you'll see you recover really quickly. And most of it's based around CBD, just to be clear.
Okay.
Because that's the best natural anti-inflammatory. And what you're dealing with CTE is inflammation in the brain.
Definitely.
If you bring the inflammation down, then the body can fix itself.
Right.
But that's another show, just so you know.
No, yeah, for sure. But you ain't wrong on that. All right. So I want to go over a couple more things before in this great, quick, good conversation that we've had. How do you want to be remembered when your time on earth is said and done? How does Mr. Martin want to be remembered?
I talk this over with my friends a lot. It's about your legacy. Most of us come from, what I want is the Martin name to be remembered as something impactful. So that's why I work on the projects I work on. Because again, once you've kind of made your way with the athletics, then it's time to make an impact in the community, because we're all conditioned to be heroes, and
absolutely
we're more or less, we are the heroes, especially in our family and in our community. So when you see a problem, you try to fix it, and that's what we're doing now with the app I'm working with Wes and his program, trying to do things that are saying, hey, we love the game. The game teaches all the fundamentals that we want in life. We want to know what it is to commit to something, to be disciplined, to overcome adversity. The biggest challenge is overcoming yourself, getting yourself out of the way so success can happen. That's what I want. I want that legacy for my kids. So when they look up and they say, hey, I'm a Martin, they have that name with pride. It's no different than Nebraska bragging about their national championships or Alabama bragging about their national championships. Everybody holds that pride. Well, have that pride in yourself. It's great to be on a great championship team and make great memories, but make great memories for your own family name, because those are the people that care about all 9 teams I played for. They're the one, most folks just say, hey, you played in the NFL. That's great. But my family cares. Oh, he played for the Jets. He played for the Eagles. He played for the Colts. They're the ones that care. And that's what all my memory books are built around from my time spent there. So that's what I want as a legacy for my family, so they remember me. And hopefully people in my community remember me too.
All right. Last question. If you could give any advice out there to rookies or anybody with aspirations to get into the NFL, what would it be?
Whatever you're told, do what you want, which means some people are going to tell you you're never going to make it. Do what you want, because everybody told me I wasn't going to make it, especially after going to Mizzou. But like I said, our best record was 3-7-1.
Right.
And everybody's like, how are you going to go there? Mizzou stinks. Da, 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 da. I was like, well, the fortunate part is I got to play against great competition. Everybody from Nebraska on the offensive line went into the NFL. And I played against each one of them, which gave me great film. Colorado, same thing. Oklahoma, 3 of the guys went. So just because somebody says you can't do it doesn't mean you can't. Now, the thing I say to people all the time, watch your game film. More times than not, people don't have game film to look at in life. If you're trying to be a doctor, well, your game film's your grades. Your grades are terrible and you don't do good in biology and science, you probably want to look at something else.
Right.
That's just being real.
No, for sure.
So if you're not a doctor, that's okay. Maybe you can be a hospital administrator. But I would say to everybody that my expression in life was plot a course for the sun. If you land on the moon, you got farther than you ever thought you could be anyway, because you can't fly.
Right.
So set a high goal. And so when you're young, set it high. If anybody's doing it, you can do it.
For sure.
We're all capable as human beings to do very similar things. until you get there, you don't know the difference between, because the difference between me and Chester McClockton is about 1 or 2%. It's not a lot, but that 1 or 2% is the difference in the game. But I was not going to figure that out until I got in the game and was with this guy and watched him do what he does. Then I saw the difference. But while we're just talking about, oh, in college and he's doing this, we don't play the same teams. We don't go against the same people. You know, your measurements aren't the same. But once you get in the arena, then you see the difference.
Yeah.
So don't shy away from your dreams. Don't just do what somebody tells you to do. Do what you want to do. And when you set that goal in motion, you got to turn off everybody that says you can't make it. Because there's a lot. If you're getting close, there's going to be a lot of people that tell you you can't do it. So that'd be my best advice to anyone.
Mr. Martin, I want to thank you for your time. I look forward to chatting with you again soon. You take care of yourself now.
All right, you too. Thanks, Corey. I appreciate the time.
Yes, sir.